She says this memorial helps celebrate his life.
There's that emptiness that you have inside of you, but it's also a day to remember the life, the beautiful life, and the legacy that they're going to leave behind.
Those legacies of fallen LAPD officers were celebrated at this annual memorial ceremony. Police Chief Charlie Beck, speaking indoors at the beginning of the ceremony, was overcome with emotion as he remembered the fallen.
The biggest tragedy in my life, especially my life as a chief, has been the loss of Josh and RJ in Afghanistan.
LAPD officers Robert R.J. Cottle, seen here on the left, and Joshua J. Collins both died in 2010 while serving in Afghanistan. Chief Beck said that one way to honor those who died is by reducing the risks that come with being a police officer by doing one thing.
Is that we vow that every day we will do what it takes to keep each other safe.
The ceremony featured a traditional roll call of fallen officers, a 21 rifle volley, the playing of taps, and a missing man formation helicopter flyover. As for those left behind, they take great comfort in knowing their loved ones made a tremendous impact in their community.
His legacy lives on. He lived such a beautiful life, and he did so much for the city of Los Angeles, badge on and badge off.
As of today, 204 LAPD officers have made the ultimate sacrifice. And for the family and friends who are here today, they've managed to move on with their lives, but they vow to never forget. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
Robert R.J. Cottle and Joshua J. Collins were the last LAPD officers killed in the line of duty. LA's runoff elections are just around the corner. A new mayor and many other local seats and issues are at stake in the May 21st vote. As Anna Marcos shows us, the democratic process is reaching out to Angelenos in more new ways than ever before.
City workers are revving up the election machinery as the runoff date draws near. First on the conveyor belt, the supply tub full of all the materials that will go to each polling place.
Historically a mayoral election, and in this case mayoral plus the two other citywide offices, controller and city attorney. It stands out statistically as one that people tend to come out more for.
Not only will residents vote in a new mayor, city attorney, and city controller in this runoff, they will also choose several new city council and school board members. And they will decide measures on campaign spending and marijuana taxation.
I haven't done thorough research, but I imagine we've never had 3 medical marijuana initiatives before on our ballot.
Even with the tried and true practice of voting, the times they are changing. Among the new trends changing elections this year include social media as a new outreach tool, more medical marijuana measures on the ballot than ever before, and 2 new federally mandated languages, Hindi and Thai, to reflect LA's changing population.
So our language is, as mandated by the feds, is now risen from 6 to 8. In addition, the LA City Council, noting that we have a great deal of Armenian speakers, asked us to see if we could do at least outreach to them.
And with social media, election workers plan to spread more voting buzz than they ever have.
This year, for the first time, we have introduced a Twitter and Facebook account. I guess we have the Facebook account, but we're really beginning to try to use it to get the word out.
Residents can now vote in more languages and get all the latest election info quicker than you can say Twitter, because even the democratic process needs a little updating now and then. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The city also plans to publish voting materials in 3 more languages in 2015: Armenian, Farsi, and Russian. It was and still is a tall order. Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa's pledge to plant 1 million trees in Los Angeles. As the mayor nears the end of his time in office, a look at the progress Los Angeles has made toward its 1 million tree mark.
20%.
Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa was pumped up about his record on the environment as he spoke to an audience at the Los Angeles River Center. And to critics of his ambitious Million Trees initiative, who say the program has fallen short, the mayor makes no apologies for the 400,000 trees that have been planted so far.
You're darn right we said we were going to plant 1 million trees, and we will. Who knew at the time that we were going to be in the worst recession since the 1930s and that we wouldn't spend one general fund dollar to do it? Not one.
And without those general fund dollars, partnerships with corporate and nonprofit organizations are what have made it possible to plant any trees in the city.
We planted about over 1,000 trees throughout the public housing facilities. The community loves it. They're happy. They're proud of what we do.
The mayor says 400,000 trees is 6 times more trees as were planted prior to the initiative. And setting the bar high is what ultimately transforms a city like Los Angeles from a smog-filled, single-passenger-obsessed metropolis to one that's silencing even the harshest critics. The mayor cites Los Angeles' participation in the Kyoto Protocol, a binding agreement between industrialized nations to cut down on the emission of greenhouse gases.
Kyoto said we were going to reduce carbon emissions by 7% of 1990 levels by 2012, right? Today, we're at 28% below Kyoto levels. That's 4 times what Kyoto required. We hit that number by 2012.
The U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Tom Vilsack, who was on hand to honor Los Angeles' Million Trees program, applauded the mayor's passion and vision.
You want to stretch the goal. You always want to stretch the goal. You always want to go beyond what people think is possible, because it will take you further than you would otherwise go. Make no mistake about it, 400,000 trees is an enormous accomplishment.
With 8 years of service behind him, outgoing Mayor Villaraigosa says whoever is the next mayor of Los Angeles needs to also set the bar high, and that includes the planting of the remaining 600,000 trees. Councilman Bill Rosendahl is celebrating the completion of a project in his district, affordable housing for low-income and homeless seniors in Los Angeles. Cindy San Luis has more.
Delray Square stands at the corner of Culver and Inglewood Boulevard, a luxurious, affordable housing project that's providing a home for some of the most vulnerable in the city of Los Angeles.
The ocean and the ocean breeze is not just for the rich. It's for all of us. And this is one of those opportunities to show that we all deserve this.
Delray Square consists of 124 apartments for low-income seniors and veterans. There are 31 formerly homeless seniors that currently live at Delray Square. Resident George Bennett is a veteran of both the Army and Navy.
It's just like entering a lottery, and I really am appreciative and thankful to be here. This is really good.
Monthly rent payments are approximately 30% of their income, making it affordable for those who need it most.
There are many entities that helped us bring this together to have the affordable rents.
The building also has a fitness center, computer lab, and community room, which is being used by the Delray Neighborhood Council for its regular meetings. The building was named after the 11th District Council member for his passion and commitment to the homeless.
Councilmember Rosendahl has been a vocal leader on ending homelessness around the City Council.
And because of his efforts, nearly 36 formerly homeless seniors can now call Delray Square home. I'm Cindy San Luis for LA This Week.
Delray Square was developed by Thomas Saffron and Associates with the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles. And over in Koreatown, the Korean American community is celebrating a big first, a new museum in the city that will highlight the community's heritage and culture. Yana Kay has more.
Official sign on the dotted line, making it official. The city parking lot located at Vermont and 6th Street in the heart of Koreatown will be home to the Korean American National Museum.
We're excited and they're excited, and I can't wait to come back for the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Until then, these drummers, community members, and students celebrate in advance this milestone in the Korean American community. It took nearly 7 years to secure this location for the museum, which officials say will highlight the Korean culture.
The dominance of the Wilshire Center with a partnership with the other business here. Very special to have a museum to learn about history.
The parking lot located at Vermont and 6th Street is owned by the City of Los Angeles, which agreed to lease the land to the museum for $1 a year for the next 50 years. And Councilmember Tom LaBonge was gracious enough to cover the payment for the first year. Officials say the museum will be one of the Korean American community's most important cultural assets.
The Korean American Museum will certainly be part of the cultural fabric of the city of Los Angeles.
The Korean American National Museum will be 40,000 square feet on 2 floors. The museum will house a variety of galleries, shops, offices, an auditorium, and a rooftop garden. A facility that officials hope will be the historical and cultural center of the Korean American community for the next half a century. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The project is expected to be completed in 3 years. Who will receive the $1 million reward in the Christopher Dorner case has been determined. Broadway welcomes 2 more retailers in 2 historic buildings, and the mayor looks back at his transportation legacy. These stories and more in City Beat. The couple tied up in their Big Bear condo by former LAPD officer and suspected killer Christopher Dorner will receive 80% of the $1 million reward that was put up in the case. The remaining 20% will be split among 2 other individuals. A panel made up of 3 retired judges concluded that the couple, Jim and Karen Reynolds, held captive by Dorner, provided the most crucial tip that ultimately led police to Dorner. Dorner, who was accused of killing 4 people, was traced to a different cabin that same day in February, where a gun battle ensued between him and law enforcement officials. Dorner was later found to have died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. 12 people had initially filed claims for the $1 million reward. 2 major retailers, Urban Outfitters and Acne, have announced they are opening up stores in downtown in the historic Broadway corridor. The long-dormant 2-story Rialto Theater, which first opened in 1917, will house Urban Outfitters, which carries women's and men's fashion, as well as housewares and gifts. Meanwhile, the Stockholm-based fashion brand Acne plans to open up a flagship store and cafe in the 1930 Eastern Columbia building on the corner of 9th Street and Broadway. The structure is one of Los Angeles' finest examples of the Art Deco era's zigzag modern style. Attracting popular retailers and restaurants to historic Broadway has been part of Councilmember Jose Huizar's 10-year Bringing Back Broadway initiative. Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa recently spoke at the Transit-Oriented Development Conference held at the Music Center downtown. He talked about the future of the city's transportation development and how that will change the look of neighborhoods.
We're all built out, everybody. We're going to have to figure out how we grow more vertical, smarter, greener, more civic-minded, and in a way that celebrates the investments that we're making around rapid transit.
As for some of the projects accomplished in his 8 years in office, the mayor says the city and Metro have built and extended the Orange Line in the valley, extended the Gold Line eastward past Union Station, opened the Exposition Line near USC, and broke ground on that line's westward extension. The Department of Recreation and Parks, along with Councilmember Tom LaBonge, recently debuted new park equipment at LA High Memorial Park on West Olympic. The park's play area was completely replaced and walkways were redone. The 2.51-acre facility provides open space and a children's play area for the use of the surrounding community. The equipment was purchased and installed with the use of $300,000 in Quimby fees, which are paid for by developers. And LA High Memorial Park is not the only park to receive new playground equipment. Rasha Goel takes us to another aging park that's getting a well-deserved makeover.
Everybody ready? 1, 2, 3.
Toberman Recreation Center, a Los Angeles recreation center and parks facility, is next up to receive new outdoor equipment to replace existing equipment that's aging and outdated.
It's more about how to live your life and how to have a productive life that is healthy, and these kids don't have access, and this will make a big difference for them.
First 5 LA, an organization which believes the first 5 years are crucial in child development, and the Los Angeles Neighborhood Initiative, a nonprofit organization focused on neighborhood revitalization, organization are working with the city to promote more physical activity for LA's families.
Any opportunity we have to put in equipment that encourages recreation is just key to really improving health.
The new design incorporates 2 areas for children that are age-specific, with an area in the middle for adults. In Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Officials say childhood obesity is one of the most significant health threats facing LA County. And this week, it's all about the museums. From Hammer to LACMA to Skirball, there's no shortage of things to do. Grab some friends and pedal on over to the Hammer Museum on Friday, May 17th at 7 p.m. for an evening celebrating all things bicycle. Free festivities include bicycle portraits, a screening of the 1983 Australian action movie BMX Bandits, starring a young, not yet famous Nicole Kidman, and bicycle-centric crafts. The event is free and open to the public. The Hammer's north entrance on Lynbrook Drive will be wide open to bicyclists who want to ride in, and park. Details of this fun event can be found at hammer.ucla.edu. And enjoy an Indian dance performance at the Los Angeles County Museum of Art on Saturday, May 18th at 7 p.m. With powerful imagery and captivating movement, the Shakti Dance Company transports the audience into the world of ancient Indian temple tradition. This classical production, created by master choreographer Vijay Prakash and accompanied by live music, brings to the American stage for the first time the story of the Devadasi dancers to the gods. LACMA is located at 5905 Wilshire Boulevard. For ticket prices and information, go to lacma.org. Enter the fantastic world of artist, illustrator, animator, and toy designer Gary Baseman in this first major museum exhibition of his life and work. Gary Baseman, the door is always open at the Skirball Cultural Center. As a kid, Gary was inspired by characters from television, books, and games, helping him to come up with characters like Toby, Dumb Luck, and Shoo Shoo. The exhibit explores the influences of Baseman's Jewish family heritage and American popular culture on his exuberant art. You can catch the exhibit from now through August 18th. The Skirball Cultural Center is located at 2701 North Sepulveda Boulevard. More info can be found by going to skirball.org. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. When you see blight in your neighborhood, you can certainly report it to the city's 311 number. But recently, volunteers in the LAPD teamed up to do the dirty work themselves. Rasha Goel takes us to 2 cleanup events in the Valley.
Through a program called Strike Force, volunteers are working with officials to make a difference in their community. The goal?
To clean up some of the things that plague the community in a negative way, such as potholes in the street, graffiti, shopping carts that are abandoned and kind of left in alleyways and in front of homes, and large bulky items.
Volunteers from various organizations came to help out at the Whitsett Cleanup in North Hollywood and the Valley Glen Cleanup near the Valley College parking lot.
It feels really good because that means like I'm helping out other people and it makes other people happy, so that makes me happy.
Everybody should go out and do this. I think, it just took a few hours today.
Councilmember Paul Krikorian was also at both locations to lend a helping hand.
The idea is for the members of the community themselves to take charge of their own neighborhoods by going out and identifying the contributors to blight.
And these residents are doing exactly that. Whether calling in a pickup for a bulky item or weeding an area for new plants, their mission? To make a change. In Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
means preserving an LA icon. Echo Park is probably best known for the lotus that bloom every year in the lake. But with water pollution and other factors, it really led to a disappearance and a decline of the lotus. But with the passage of Prop O in 2004, we received money to dredge the lake and make it a better place for the native wildlife that live here and, of course, for the lotus. Rehabilitating the lake has really helped us preserve an LA icon.
誰でも郵送で投票することができます。すべての投票用紙は選挙日の投票所の閉館時間までに受理されなければなりません。あなたの投票用紙に選択肢の印をつけて封印、証明、そして郵送するだけと簡単です。待たずに今すぐ郵便投票をしよう。
Hi, I'm Kevin from Chatsworth, offering you a taste of New Orleans since 1986. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel.
Okay, good morning. If everyone could please take their seats. It is Friday, May 17th. This is your Los Angeles City Council. You're all welcome. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. And again, we're always open to the public. If you want to just come down and watch how your city government works, that's fine. If you need to speak on an item, we have cards in the back. Just fill out your name and what item you want to speak on, and we will do the best we can to get to you. My name is Herb Wesson, and I'm the president of the Los Angeles City Council, and I will be today's presiding officer. We do not have a quorum at this time, but we will begin the presentation portion of today's agenda, starting off with the great councilman of the great 4th District. I was in your district last night, Mr. Labange, with the Consul General of Japan.
At 4th and Hudson.
Yes, and he spoke very highly of you and asked me to say hello to you. With that, Mr. Labange, you have the floor. Wait, a wee announcement by Mr. Booth.
Yes, really quick. It's great to see the First Lady of Council District 10, Faye, is here.
My wife, Fabian,
there she is.
here.
Good to see you, ma'am.
Thank you, Joey B. Because last time I forgot to mention her, it cost me diamond earrings. So thank you. Mr. Labange, you have the floor.
Mr. President, thank you very much, and I'm glad you were visiting the Japanese consulate at 4th and Hudson. The previous Consul General who lived there told me, Fabian, that he was very concerned of his last assignment was on New York at the United Nations, and that's right on the side of the Hudson River. And there was water always flowing there outside the United Nations. But there was a leaky water line in that neighborhood on 4th and Hudson, and he didn't know when he came to Los Angeles he would still be on the Hudson River West. We fixed the leak. He was very happy, and we thank the Bureau of Sanitation, Adele and Enrique and all the team there. But I gather here this morning, and I'm so pleased, Mr. President, that you allow me to do this to represent Mr. Alarcon, who's the chairman of the Arts and Parks Committee, but to allow me to salute the Older Americans Month. I want to just tell you, it's very special. I am now an older American, but I was on Mayor Bradley's Youth Council. And in 1974, the first meeting we had, Helen Lee, was with one of the mayor's top advisors, Bill Elkins, who told us to remember, one day you'll be an old American too. So I made it, Bill. I made it, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Bradley, and it's very special that we celebrate Older Americans Month all May. Let's give all older Americans a big hand right now. I'm joined by Marco Perez, who's the Deputy Director of the Department of Aging, and Helen Lee, who is the great coordinator of all Asian American communities in Los Angeles, and is so special because she loves her job and loves helping people. And this month on the Henry P. Rio Bridge, which is the bridge that connects City Hall to City Hall East, named after Henry P. Rio, who was very much an older American because he worked for the city 55 years and got that name on the bridge. He was a city clerk. We have a great gallery there. In that gallery there, we have great work of the art of our older Americans. And we want to salute them for this very tradition that we have here at City Hall for the Older American Month, Healthy Aging. This places the spotlights on the importance of our older Americans, to be physically fit, to be engaged, to volunteer, and to love life, which is so good. And that's what this Department of Aging does. It brings people together to make things happen. This past May, the senior artist created this amazing array of artwork, which is now on display, so please walk over the gallery. And it wasn't just happened, not just with the Department of Aging. You had some partners, right, Helen?
Yes, sir.
And they were Toyota USA. Let's give Toyota USA a big hand. Thank you. Come up here right now. And Toyota USA is not just today or not just this one project, but many events throughout the community you sponsor. Let's give Toyota another big hand. Thank you so much. What's your name? Tina LeBlanc. Tina LeBlanc. I'm Tom Labange, so we're cousins. Okay, good job, Tina. All right, and also I want to, this organization is SCAN. It's SCAN, which is a very special organization, SCAN. We want to thank them for all their work and the support of the senior art exhibit. Thank you. What's your name?
Renee. Renee Cyber.
Renee Sider. Renee, thank you. Without the partnership and collaboration, it all doesn't happen. Marco, I want you to say a few words on behalf of Laura Trejo right now before I present the real presentation for everybody.
Sure. Thank you very much. Marco Perez with Department of Aging. Every year since 1963, May has been a month of appreciation and celebration for the vitality and aspiration of older adults and their contributions to our communities. The theme for this year, Unleash the Power of Aging, has never been more fitting. Our older Americans in productive action, influential members of society, sharing their wisdom, life experience, and essential talent. Today, you can see that talent by seeing the art that they create. I invite everybody, every member of this council, to take a look at it, and you'll see a wonderful opportunity to see the art that they create. Thank you very much, and happy May.
Thank you. Give him a round of applause.
You got it there, Marco. Good job. But we have one of the winners right here. This booklet is being distributed by the CLA momentarily when you get the books. This work here is done, very special, done right here by our #1 award winner. And I want you to come over, Cynthia Gatterly? Galetly. Okay, come up here. Cynthia, the artist, the great work. Where do you live? Where do you live?
In Northridge.
And she lives in the 12th District, Mitch, so come up here, take a picture with your great constituent. Say a quick word about this. What gave this inspiration? The art of dancing, the art of painting.
First of all, thank you very much for this great honor and the award. And about the only thing I can say is thank you again. And I do go dancing, swing dancing every week. So that was the inspiration.
I like swing dancing too, so it's good. Let's hear it for swing dancing. Good job, Cynthia. We'll get a picture in a moment. Gilfat. Also, we have the award winner, and this is a great painting of Good Morning in the Park. It could be a park in your districts, Mr. Weston, anyone's district. A beautiful morning. Marilyn Gelfat. Come up, Marilyn. Give a big hand for Marilyn and a great work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Where you live?
Culver City.
Culver City. She lives in Los Angeles adjacent in Culver City, but we welcome everybody.
We're LA County. Just as good.
LA City art class.
LA City art class, which is so good, and we thank you so much, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. President, so now, as duly appointed as the chair, representative from Mr. Alicorn by the President of the City Council, Mr. Herb Wesson, we declare this Older Americans Month, May 2013.
All right, Tommy.
We're going to go take a picture.
And Mr. Labange, if I could have you change places with me.
Thank you very much. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. We're going to go take a picture. Older Americans another hand, because if we're not there already, we will be there. And there's some great contributors. Now please welcome to the podium the President of City Council, Herb Wesson.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. I just happened to look on the queue. We do have a quorum. Maybe you should run through the agenda quickly, and then I'll do my presentation.
Okay, very good, Mr. President. Madam Clerk, could you tell us, could you call the roll?
Alicorn, Buscaino, Englander, Garcetti, Weezer, Carrasco, Corning, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Zion, Wesson, 10 members present, a quorum, Mr. President.
Good. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Englander moves. Mr. Buscaino seconds.
Communitary resolutions for approval.
For approval. Mr. Buscaino moves, and Mr. Weezer seconds.
Items 1 and 2 are items noticed for public hearing.
Any cards?
Cards on item 1.
Cards of item 1, so let's take up item 2. Let's open the roll on item 2. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
So ordered. Next item.
Items 3 through 5 are items for which public hearings have been held.
They have been held. Required by law. We appreciate that. And members, any specials on items 3 through 5? Seeing no specials, let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
And the ordinance for item number 3 will be held over for 1 week for a second reading.
Unless we have more members. Thank you. Please monitor that, Madam Clerk. Next item.
Items 6 through 11 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes required for consideration.
Let's 10 votes for consideration. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote. This is for consideration, Mr. Wall.
10 ayes.
Okay, now we have the consideration up in front of us. Do we have any cards then on which ones?
Cards on items 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So let's call those special. Any other matters right now? We'll hold for the special meeting later on.
Council should vote on item 11.
Item 11. Let's open the roll on item 11. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
11 ayes. So ordered.
Do we have forthwith on 11?
Forthwith on 11 for Mr. Parks.
Mr. President, that takes council back to presentations.
Council for presentations. Can we have everyone's attention now to the podium? Council President Herb Wesson.
Thank you again. Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very proud to partner with the Mayor's Office today in recognizing the 18th Annual Minority Awards event. Since 1994, the Mayor's Office of Economic and Business Policy has participated in an interagency agreement with the U.S. Department of Commerce. And we have before us our group known as the Minority Business Development Agency that we used to refer to as MBOC. Now, according to this group of fine people led by Linda Smith, minority firms have contributed over $1 trillion in economic impact to the U.S. economy, creating 5.8 million jobs, outpacing the growth of non-minority firms, and they lead the nation in exporting. What we're going to do today is recognize individuals that are part of this new, very strong and vibrant economic engine that will help take this country out of its financial recession of sorts, provide jobs, and provide people opportunities. I can't say enough about Linda Smith, the managing director and public and private partnerships. She's done a phenomenal job. Plus, for a few years, she worked with my wife. Fabian is here, and I didn't even know that I was partnering with the mayor until my wife told me I was partnering with the mayor. So it is indeed a pleasure to partner with the mayor's office. But so that we can quickly present these presentations, I'm going to have Linda Smith come up, and I'd like for you to give her the type of round of applause that she deserves, because this is a very hard-working individual trying to do everything and anything that she can to make our economic condition a good condition. Linda Smith.
Thank you very much, Council President Herb Wesson, and I want to thank the Council President and the Council members for allowing us to present our 2013 Minority Business Honorees and for you to recognize them. Nominations were submitted to the Mayor's Office of Economic and Business Policy, and the winners were selected by a panel of judges following a nomination period. Los Angeles is the home of 325,000 small businesses, and 70% of which are minority and women-owned. From 2002 to 2007, national employment by minority firms grew by astounding 24%, while non-minority firms saw a decrease in employment. But unfortunately, there's still a misconception by many procurement managers in both the private and the public sectors, including the city, that minority businesses are all micro and mom-and-pop firms and don't have the capacity to perform. So that's the purpose of the event and why we do the things we do. Council President Wesson has already told you the history of this event. Just wanted to share you what happened this week. On Tuesday, we had a conference over at LAPD where we had sessions on cost estimating and financing that fit to give business owners. We had about 75 businesses there. On Wednesday the 15th, we had our awards reception at the California Club, and today we close this celebration with this presentation before City Council. But this won't end here. These businesses will be given 3 days of federal contracting training in a few months, and we will take them all to Washington, D.C. for the National Merit Week so they can secure federal contracts. All of this is done by corporate sponsorships. But what I want to do now is, do you want me? Are you going to read the? Yes.
You can read them. I'll hand them out.
Okay. Just so you know, collectively, these businesses employ over 300 people. We will start with the construction firm of the year, Alameda Construction Services. Owners are Kevin and Ramsey Tracy, a brother and sister combination. For the majority of its 16 years in business, Alameda Construction Services has focused on its core service of site concrete for commercial, retail, industrial, hospital, and school projects. In the past 5 years, the company has grown 40% and employs an average of 50 workers. The company has diversified its revenue sources by expanding their business model with sales of commercial bathroom, partitions, accessories, and special items. We were pleased to learn this month that they're getting another award, the Initiative for a Competitive Inner City known as ICIC, founded by the Harvard Business School professor Michael Porter, has placed Alameda on its annual City 100 list for the fastest growing companies located in inner city. They will be honored in the Fortune magazine in the coming months, and going to Boston to get 2 days of intensive training at the Harvard Business School. So it gives me a great pleasure to present to you Alameda Construction.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you. Just stand over there.
Shorten your intros.
Okay. Our next firm is Distributor of the Year, and that's Omega Pacific Supply Company, owned by Todd Lewis. Omega Pacific is the largest African-American-owned energy-efficient lighting distributor in the United States. The firm expanded from electrical supplies and traffic signals to energy-efficient street lighting and became an early adapter of energy-efficient lead technology to broaden the company's customer base. With great pleasure, I present to you Omega Pacific Electrical.
Omega? Why Omega?
Omega Pack, bottom of the ocean, coming up.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Our next winner is Global Export Firm of the Year, Nero Group International, Inc., and the owner is Young Park. The company's mission is to become the single source of all of their clients' business needs for construction facilities and professional services. Nero's portfolio includes property development, general contracting, securities, facilities management, and infrastructure. Great pleasure to give this certificate to Nero Group International.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Our next company is Green Firm of the Year, Gigawatt, and the owner is Deep Patel. Company is the most innovative solar company in the United States, serving a diverse base of residential, government, nonprofit, and utility customers with customers' energy needs. Gigawatt handles sales and distribution, solar installation, and product development. Great pleasure to present the certificate to Gigawatt.
All of you?
Yeah.
No, all good.
picture, guys. Come on.
Neil.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
We're almost done. Just got two more. Our next winner is Professional Service Firm of the Year, Ziesman Communication, and the owners are a team of Bonnie Nice and Arthur Ziesman. Company is a brand strategy, marketing, and design firm that works with companies of all sizes, government agencies, and nonprofits. It gives me great pleasure to present this certificate to Ziesman Communications.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Come on over here, let's take a photo. Our pleasure and good work.
Thank you so much.
Take care, guys.
Please. Our next award-winning firm is the Technology Firm of the Year, and that's JM Fiber Optic, Inc., and the owners are Kenneth and Marie Rivera, and it's a full-service supplier of systems integration firm established in 1992 to provide fiber optic communications, integrated communication systems, and technical certification to customers worldwide. And they also join a contract right now with Briola Sanitation right now. Thank you.
Where are they?
Right here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Our final firm was a really tight competition, and we ended up deciding to do a runner-up category. So our runner-up technology firm is CC Ops, Inc., a woman-owned and minority-owned small business in its 28th year of providing industry-leading technology based on professional services and managed desktop services to government and Fortune 500 companies. It's a pleasure to present this certificate to CC Ops, Inc.
Congratulations.
That concludes these people.
Thank you. Let's give them one more round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody there. Very important
Mr.
role.
President.
You got it. And they all can be escorted to the back room for special photos. Now, Mr. Parks, you have a presentation, Mr. Parks, of the 8th District. Mr. Bernard Parks of the 8th District.
Thank you very much. Today, we're going to honor a very special unit within LAPD. I'd ask Lieutenant Andre Dawson to come up, also Detective Dana Harris, Detective Pedro Rodriguez, Detective Vincent Chan, Police Officer 3 Kristen Humphreys, Police Officer 3 Aaron Croth, Police Officer 2 Sean King, Police Officer 3 Orlando Livingston, Police Officer 3 Michael Dix, and then Lieutenant Dawson. We're here to honor this group. Please come up close. This group for their achievements as part of the LAPD Human Trafficking Unit. This unit is one of the fastest growing enterprises in the world. A central component underlying human trafficking is the physical, psychological, and emotional abuse suffered by the survivors at the hands of the trafficker. This horrible crime against humanity is often a crime hidden from plain sight. The average age of which minors are involved or enticed or forced into this commercial sex trade is 13 years of age. LAPD's Human Trafficking Unit has taken a victim-centered approach and rescue victims and apprehend of traffickers, LAPD utilizes the wraparound approach for all survivors of human trafficking. These services for survivors are often provided by partnerships between LAPD and non-governmental organizations. This leads to proper police investigation, housing for the survivors, as well as psychological care for the survivors. For the extraction period of January 2012 to April 2013, LAPD's Human Trafficking Unit has amassed the following totals: 94 investigations, identified and rescued 67 females, 39 of which are under the age of 18, 52 human trafficking-related felony arrests, including pimping, pandering, sexual assault, kidnapping, and human trafficking. And so today, and although we're late on honoring you during the Human Trafficking Month, we wanted to make sure that this unit was given particular attention because of the unique crime, and also want to say personally thank you for the work you've done on Western Avenue in the 8th District, in which you have helped us solve many community complaints about the ongoing prostitution problem in the 8th District. I'd like to now ask Lieutenant Andre Dawson to come up and make some comments.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief, Council President, Council members. On behalf of Captain Kelly Muldorfer, I would certainly like to say thank you in appreciation and recognition of the unit, particularly with the officers that I've had the pleasure and honor of working with for the past couple of years. And when most people find out or realize what we do, the first perception or vision that they get is that this is an international crime, that our victims are usually from some third world country, Eastern European country. But the reality of it is a majority, if not all of our victims are domestic victims. And majority of the times when I do reference our survivors, I refer to them as children for the simple reason because majority of our, particularly in the Los Angeles area, as the Chief mentioned, we've had young as 13, and unfortunately in one case we've had a child or a victim as young as 10 years old. And what most people don't realize is the violence, the increase in violence that we're seeing, particularly within the city. We have gang members now who have exchanged drugs for girls, quite frankly, because it's more profitable to traffic girls. And we're also seeing an increase of gang members that are taking advantage of the learning impaired, which quite frankly should shock the consciousness of everybody in this room when we realize that we've got human beings who are prostituting young girls and children through the city of Los Angeles for the profit of money. So what the Detective Support and Vice Division has done within the past couple of years is tried to reach out to the community by efforts of education and awareness to make everybody aware of this problem, particularly after we had a case where we had a 14-year-old convince an adult jury that she was a pimp, that she was the pimp to protect her pimp. So from then on, we've been doing the best we can as far as community outreach. And again, it's been a pleasure to work with the officers that are assigned to the Detective Support Human Trafficking Unit. And again, Chief, thank you very much.
Lieutenant, before you get away, Mr. Parks, Mr. Zine for remarks, followed by Mr. Rosendahl.
Thank you. And I want to acknowledge all the fine work that you folks have done. This is something that the public doesn't really hear about. Once in a while, there'll be maybe a story in the paper. You're dealing with this every day, tragedies that affect so many people in our city. So I want to commend you for the diligence, the work that you do on a constant basis. And you crack a case, and then there's another case, and you're dealing with the human lives of people who are victimized so often. So I just want to offer congratulations. You are dedicated members of the Los Angeles Police Department, so congratulations for being recognized and for continuing that work that a lot of people don't even pay attention to. Congratulations. Keep up the good work, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. Mr. Rosendahl.
Yes, I totally agree with what Mr. Zine said. I was intently listening. This insanity of slavery of young people and anybody that has been brought over from different parts of the world in different ways and abused. The fact that you're standing up strong and you're fighting is beautiful. And I want to thank you, Mr. B, for providing leadership on it. But most importantly, we cannot let this continue in Los Angeles. And gang members, frankly, we got to deal with gangs differently than what we've been dealing with gangs. That's a whole nother discussion. But human trafficking has to stop. I'm very proud of you making the effort that you're doing. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rosendahl, thank you. Lieutenant and all the detectives, I know why you had good, strong posture sitting in that row. Thank you very much for what you do. The impact on Western Avenue doesn't just stop at our council districts. It covers the whole area. So thank you for their work. Let's give these fine detectives a big hand for their efforts. Thank you, Mr. Parks. Our last presentation, Madam Clerk, is it the last presentation? Will be Mr. Huizar of the 14th District. And thank you.
Filling in for John Perry. Thank you. Glad to do it anyway. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, you look good in that chair.
Well, thank you very much, but it's the suit that my wife made me wear today, so she makes me look good. Mrs. Labange, thank you, Mr. Huizar.
Well, thank you very much, Council President. I'm happy to be standing here on behalf of Council Member Jan Perry, who invited some special individuals to be recognized today. Councilwoman Jan Perry could not be here, but we wanted to give some attention to some unsung heroes in our community, and I'm talking about our city's crossing guards. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I see a crossing guard assisting our children crossing the street near a school, I get a good feeling knowing that somebody is out there taking the time to make sure that our kids are arriving safely as they go to and from school. Here in the city of Los Angeles, almost 30 years ago, parking enforcement and crossing guard responsibilities were transferred out of the Los Angeles Department of Transportation to the LA DOT from the LAPD oversight. Approximately 400 men and women fill the roles of crossing guards at elementary schools across the city of Los Angeles. And let me tell you, they are in demand because our schools and our teachers, our administrators, our parents know the good work they do, and our office constantly hears about how they could have one near their elementary school. And these are not jobs without some peril. Many crossing guards have received injuries from motor vehicles in the course of their duties. All of them put our children first, and parents, teachers, and administrators appreciate each individual crossing guard's commitment to safety and our children's well-being. I'm joined today by Gregory Savelli, Chief of Parking Enforcement, and a few of our crossing guards. And Council President, if you could join me in giving them all a big round of applause to thank them for the work they do on behalf of our children.
Please give them a round of applause.
Thank you so much.
I love your stop sign.
Now, don't stop the applause. And next week is Crossing Guard Appreciation Week, so we want to highlight these heroes in our community. Thank them very much for their work and for taking care of our most precious resource in our community, which is our young people. So thank you all, and at this time, I want to present Gregory Savelli a certificate from the Council appreciating all of our crossing guards on this Appreciation Week 2013. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Rosendahl. Wait, before the officer speaks, Mr. Rosendahl.
I got to say, as Chair of Transportation, working with you has been fantastic. And we know that without you there, with those signs, show that sign again, the stop sign, okay? Without that, there would be a lot more problems, and I want to thank you all very much for caring about kids, caring about adults, most importantly, caring about pedestrians and helping them cross the street. We're about pedestrians, we're about mass transit, we're about carpooling, we're about multimodal strategies going forward. And this is a key element. I might even do a shout out and tell you that down in my district there, Beethoven Elementary and the other schools there, you've done a fabulous job with those signs protecting our people. God bless you. Thank you.
Mr. Labange.
And Mr. Huizar, do you remember your crossing guard as a child? What was their name?
forgot the name, but she was there throughout my 6 years at Euclid Avenue Elementary School.
And so special. And I did not forget Art, the crossing guard at Ambrose and Hillhurst. And in later years, they put in a signal. And I know Robert, who's at West Silver Lake, and Rowena. And it's the component that is so there. And the leadership chief, Chief Ciancinelli, and all, Lieutenant Jones, Captain, forgive me for not calling everybody's name out. But there's nothing like a crossing guard who makes the kids feel good about going to school and safe. And now the advancement members of our Department of Transportation, pushed by the Transportation Committee, Mr. Rosendahl and others, but not by much, just by affection, your partnership with DWP, where you assign the officers to augment when there's big projects. This is a safe way to do it. And you remind me of that commercial on TV, the guy who pulls out all the stops when he gets all the ducks in a row to make it big. Chief, you did a great job. Let's hear it for all the crossing guards in Los Angeles next week.
We have with us
now
today.
we have Mr. Zine, Dennis Zine.
Well, thank you, thank you. I want to acknowledge the work that you folks do, and I've spent, as you may know, 45 years with the LAPD as a line officer and as a reserve officer, and I can remember times when our crossing guards have been struck by cars. Some have perished trying to protect our children, and that is something that you do every day throughout the city of Los Angeles to help get our youth to school. Oftentimes, they don't look as they're supposed to. And if it wasn't for the crossing guards, I know we'd have more incidents than we have now. Pedestrian fatalities in LA keep increasing. People aren't paying attention to it. Same thing we have with the bicycle riders. But you folks are really lifesavers, because if you look at the lives that have been taken of people who did exactly what you do because a motorist not paying attention, and there are people who have lost their lives trying to help children cross the street, crossing guards for the city of Los Angeles. So I want to commend you for what you do every single day. And while you're crossing that street back and forth with that stop sign, people look at it and say, we will slow, we will stop, we will show respect, and others just accelerate through. And that's the hazard that you face every single day, trying to protect the children of this city. So I want to acknowledge and commend you. Chief, thank you for bringing them forward. Jose, thank you for bringing this. But we got crossing guards. How many do we have throughout the city of Los Angeles? 400. Over 400 folks. And it might be a beautiful sunny day. It might be a day when it's 100 degrees. It might be a day when it's raining. It might be a day when it's really a humid day. You're out there. Just as our law enforcement, our public safety personnel, you folks are out there taking care of our children. So I want to acknowledge and commend you for what you do to save those precious lives, the future of this great city. God bless you, and safe walking as you take those children back and forth. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. And now, Mr. Weezer, call on the big chief.
I will, and before I do that, I want to thank Mr. Zine, because I remember when I was in the school board, he reached out to me to talk about how we could better coordinate between the school district and the city with our crossing guards. So thank you, Mr. Z. I remember that way back then when you also would donate, help coordinate donating motorcycle cops, the motorcycles to our unused motorcycles to our LAUSD. Thank you so much. And now, Mr. President, Gregory Savelli, Chief of Parking Enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Just very briefly, thank you, Council President and Council members, Mr. Guizar, for bringing us forward. This is very important for us as the Department of Transportation. Mr. De La Vega sends his support. Thanks as well. We just want to make sure that you guys do recognize the hard work, and you just said it all. You know, like the post office, they're out there all the time, oftentimes unrecognized. That's why I brought that sign. I want to make sure that if you see that sign go up, please do stop. You're protecting not only the children, but our workers. We had 2 hit last year while protecting children. They're both okay, but they have some injuries. And so it is a job that is very dangerous at times. And they are also, Councilmember LaBonge, they could be considered part of that group that you introduced earlier, the Older Americans group, because the average age of our crossing guard is 70. And we have a lot of dedicated retired senior citizens that are out there crossing our children every day, and they love it. And they love the kids, and I just want to thank you again for having us here today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Weston, I'll do a little Tom LaBonge. One big round of applause for our Crossing Guard Appreciation Week.
Yes.
Get in here. Get in here. Everybody get in. Get in, Lieutenant Jones.
Mr. Tom LeBon's the most photographed man on the City Council. Again, congratulations. Mr. City Attorney, we have 12 members, so I think what we should do at this point is let's vote on reconsideration of item 3, and then we will again vote on item 3. So we're voting on reconsideration on item 3. If we could open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Now we're going to vote on it. That was just for reconsideration. Any cards? Okay. So now, Mr. Koretz.
I was wondering if I could also ask for reconsideration for item 5 for cards, because I think it got missed.
No, I think that the public comment period was satisfied on that. After this vote, I'll look into that and let you know. Okay, now we're actually voting on item 3. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, and I dealt, Mr. Koretz, I dealt with item 5 in committee this morning. Every individual that wanted to speak on it was afforded that opportunity, and the committee supported them fully. Okay, we're going to take up item 6. Oh, and forthwith on 3. Okay, item 6, I have John Walsh and Donna Pearman. If you could please come forward. John Walsh and Donna Pearman.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. I'd like to say good morning to every single one of you through the chair, except I can't say good morning to Mr. Garcetti. He's in it for himself, out campaigning.
On the topic.
Yeah, well, the topic is why did you let him?
On the topic, Mr.
The topic
Walsh.
of this is number 6. Number 6 concerns establishing regular council meetings in the Van Nuys City Hall. So therefore, Garcetti can be absent in Van Nuys
on the item.
Here.
On the
I'm
item.
talking about the issue. I'm talking about the Van Nuys City Hall. We don't see him going to those meetings. We don't see him coming to these meetings. And this, incidentally, is the highest paid city council on the planet Earth, and you don't even have to show up
on the item.
in Van Nuys.
Mr. Walsh, stay on the item.
You're heckling me. HollywoodHighlands.org. You got up in the wrong side of the bed this morning, Herb.
No, you did, John. All right. Ms. Pearman?
Yeah. You think this is acceptable? These dates, every other month coming to Van Nuys. And that's not hardly good enough for the public. If they miss the one going every other month, then they'll have to wait 4 months. This is not acceptable. Well, the only days acceptable is to bring back the video conferencing from Van Nuys, so they can come every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, and that's the only way that the Valley people will be heard. So don't tell me that most of the people in the Valley know that the City Council only cares about downtown because it shows because you're always downtown, and so only every other month. You didn't even have it every month. This is unacceptable. Bring back the Van Nuys video conferencing so all of the San Fernando Valley can have a voice, because I want to say that we didn't succeed because of that, because they said, we'll listen to you. You could speak down in Van Nuys. So this is totally unacceptable. I don't care that you're only coming back 3 times the rest of the year. Unacceptable.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Pearman. Okay, let's prepare to vote on this item. Madam Clerk, open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay. Do we go to item 7? Item 7, held special by John Walsh. John, please come forward.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org or jwalshconfidential.wordpress.com, and this is item 7. This is replacing an irrigation system within an existing landscape median at Mulholland Drive and Beverly Glen Drive, far away from Garcetti's district. So he doesn't have to be here for this. HollywoodHighlands.org, of course, is 100% in favor of this. I'm on number 7. What do you want?
Come on,
I'm
John.
talking about the irrigation ditch. What am I supposed to do? Bring you the damn ditch?
Stay on the ditch.
Irrigation ditch, irrigation ditch, irrigation ditch. For a favor, in favor, in favor. Stop heckling me. Irrigation ditch, irrigation ditch, irrigation ditch, in favor, in favor, in favor, in favor, in favor, in favor, in favor.
He appears to be repeating himself.
Was I on the subject?
Okay, with that said, Mr. Sachs, your card was stuck to Mr. Walsh's, and I just caught it. So please come forward.
Stuck with John.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Arnold Sachs. What the public should realize about the most important part of this item is starts as council district funds, street furniture funds. But somehow it goes from council district funds to council office funds. And the council offices decide how to use street furniture funds. Not everybody in the council district, but the council office. This is revenue that comes into the city. This is like pipeline revenue. This is like AB 1290 revenue. This is like bus bench revenue. All sources of revenue that come to the city that should be available for the council districts, but end up being used at the discretion of the councilman's office. There's a big difference. We need more people to have an opportunity in the neighborhood councils on how some of this money should be spent, and not have the council offices be the only ones deciding on how to spend this revenue that belongs to the public in the council districts. You have that opportunity when you vote. It's the only opportunity you have. It's your free will. If you give up that free will, these people will step all over you. Take advantage of the opportunity, learn about the funds that are available for the council district, and then call your councilman's office and find out why you're not getting an opportunity to share in the use of those revenues. They talk about collecting funds due the city. These are not funds that are collected. These are funds contracted to come to the council districts. It's money that belongs to the public, not money that belongs to the council office.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, now we're going to move to item 8. Item 8, I have John Walsh, Dr. Tom Williams, and Arnold Sachs. You can go get started, John. Dr. Williams, get ready.
Minute 3. John Walsh, for identification purposes only, Chair of the Anybody But Garcetti for
Come
Mayor
on,
Committee.
John. Stay on
Number
this
8.
subject.
This is very important. This demonization of the DWP. This is a company called Sempra Energy, Southern California. They had an explosion. When was the last time DWP killed 8 people the way PG&E killed 8 people in San Bruno? I would like to bring to this right here some of the relatives of the people killed by PG&E from San Bruno and have them talk about the DWP. The only people 100% in favor of the DWP and the only people, it's not an issue except for old, right-wing, racist, white guys in the Valley. For the rest of L.A., viva DWP, vote Wendy Gruhl.
Okay, Dr. Williams, followed by Arnold Sachs.
Dr. Tom Williams, LA 32 Neighborhood Council. Why am I interested in the Southern California Gas Company facility at Playa del Rey? Well, as part of CPUC consultancy, we reviewed it about 14 years ago. We also reviewed the Montebello storage facility, which CPUC found was very much in non-compliance. They had to close it down, and the staff there had to take ethics training. Can we trust what Southern California Gas Company is saying in the press? No. I would highly recommend, I have about 8 recommendations for considerations on this subject, but the fundamental one is you can't trust them. Was there 1 explosion or 2 explosions? The videos that I've seen were 2 explosions. What happened? I know one thing that happened. A gentleman who was trying to sell a house overlooking Ballona Creek could no longer sell his house. Why? Because he had to divulge to the future prospective purchaser that Southern California Gas Company had an explosion and that he encountered misting on his house. There's a lot of problems in this one, and it's affecting a large area. We don't know really how much was affected, but I'd highly recommend a more thorough examination than just 1 meeting. There should be at least 2 meetings separated by a week so that people can consider the presentations that were made during the first one, so that we can come up with really what happened here. Because Southern California Gas Company, I don't trust. Thank you.
Mr. Sachs.
Well, yes, thank you. Good morning again, Arnold Sachs. I'd like to point out, did we have a discussion and resolve the situation that occurred in Westchester when the DWP vault exploded and killed the LA Fire Department personnel? How did that turn out? This, again, is infrastructure. The losing part of the equation when it comes to city government. Infrastructure always goes by the wayside. You need to have an opportunity here to find out, A and B, what exactly is in your neighborhood. Every council district should have a meeting to let the public know what's flowing through their neighborhood as far as volatile liquids and situations that they should be aware of. That's what this opportunity should present, and that's what should happen.
Mr. Rosendahl.
This is just a procedural strategy that we need to do, Mr. Chair. There is a tremendous concern right now in the Playa del Rey area as to what's going on. And people have a right to know. We're going to bring the state in, we'll bring them in, and we'll have a healthy discussion because the community is concerned, and I agree with the community. We need to focus on it. It's procedural, though.
Good work, Mr. Rosendahl. Okay, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Item 9, John Walsh.
Minute 4. John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. 100,000 successful server requests a month. This is an issue. Remember, we're cutting fire and ambulance. That's what we're doing. And we have the worst streets in the United States. That's not what Antonio was given, but that's what he leaves us with. Here we're talking about, street banners for events, okay. A banner tells you something is happening now. But we are spending, and here it's in Westchester Town Center, Mr. Garcetti, oh, he's not there, all of you, it's a non-event street banner. We are spending thousands and thousands of dollars on non-event street banners. We don't need them. It's a non-event. It's a no-brainer, as Mr. Rosendale would say. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Thank you. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, item 10, John Walsh. Item 10.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. For the people here, the only reason I get to speak is a state law. If there was no state law, they'd throw me out that window, allowing me to speak. It's a state law called the Brown Act. This is number 10. And the Brown Act is unique in the entire world. You will never see this happen in any other place in the world.
He is not
I'm doing here. Hollywood Highlands, number 10, initiating street vacation. A street vacation means when someone who makes money, who gives a contribution to a politician, when he wants a piece of property, the city vacates it and gives it to him for nothing. This happened at Yucca and Argyle. I can go and show you where they put up a fence once the city gave them the property. HollywoodHighlands.org. Stay tuned in the last 2 minutes of the meeting. Anybody but Garcetti for mayor.
Okay, thank you. Let's prepare to vote on this item. Could we open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote?
12 ayes.
Okay, I'd like to take a moment to greet some special visitors. We have in the back Tom Bradley, our charter school. They're all first graders. Give them a round of applause. They are our leaders of tomorrow. Welcome, young people, welcome. Thank you for coming. Okay, we're going to go to the special meeting. Do we have to recess this meeting?
Yes.
So if you could do that and then call the roll. Or this meeting is recessed and we'll go into the special meeting for item 12.
Alarcon, Buscaino, Englander, Garcetti, Weezer, Carrasco, Corning, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Zine, Wesson, 12 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, Mr. Walsh, John Walsh, Arnold Sachs, and Dr. Tom Williams. Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Through the chair, I'd like to say thank you to the members here. Thank you for listening, Mr. Krikorian. Thank you for listening, Mr. Parks. Thank you for listening, Mr. Reyes. Thank you for listening, Mr. Rosendahl. Thank you for listening.
He is not speaking about this item.
Mr. Walsh, on the item.
What is Eric
No, that's not this item, John. That's not this item.
For listening. That's not on the item.
Has nothing to do.
Housing Authority is the most corrupt agency. You've seen all the stories. There's still FBI investigations of what's happening in HACLA. HACLA is Housing, Community, and Economic Development. This is created by the mayor, and this is an agency that is ripe for reform. And all this is another $2 million passing through the agency. When it passes through the agency, there are sticky fingers when it passes through the agency. So I don't need 2 minutes to tell you you're corrupt, and I don't have the lung power to reach Garcetti since he's a mile and a half away.
On the item. Okay, let's bring up who's next. Mr. Sachs, followed by Dr. Williams.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Arnold Sachs. You know, when this was in the committee, they didn't have a quorum, so they didn't hear it. But the gentleman who spoke representing the Housing Authority mentioned that it's a nonprofit. So, if you've been following the news and you've been hearing about the reports with the IRS and they're targeting nonprofits, this is where the money's at. This is where the lobbying's at, because nonprofits come in and run these organizations. When the city council and the mayor appoint nonprofits like they do for the business improvement districts and other agencies, A and B, they don't have to have an agenda. They don't have to have an open meeting. They don't have to respond to anybody because they're nonprofits. You know what a nonprofit is? MICLA's a nonprofit. You know what else a nonprofit is? The Crenshaw line is a nonprofit. They don't have to have an agenda. No public input, no public output. And the fact that it's a pilot, you know what else is a pilot? The DWP is a pilot program. They make a payment to the city in lieu of taxes. Maybe it's a nonprofit. This is the root of why you have lobbyists. People will say they come for projects, but this is where the money's at. You start running these programs, you get the funding, it's your opportunity to do what you want with that funding. And this is how the city rolls, because they make up these nonprofits. This is the secret handshakes, the deals in the back. This is where the dirt is. This is why you need outside people in the controller's office. This is...
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Dr. Williams. Dr. Williams.
Dr. Tom Williams, LA 32 Neighborhood Council. Actually, I kind of agree with Arnold. 501c3s, nonprofits, are unaccountable to the city council except through maybe their sponsors. I'm quite concerned regarding 501c3s. Well, on the other side, I'm going to form one. I haven't decided what it will be, but since everybody's doing it, and since everybody's using it, and you don't have to disclose a lot of things, it seems like the way to go. Nonprofits have been recommended for a lot of things. Now, for the Recreation and Parks Department, hey, they get a little piece of the action of this authorization. However, it's a question as to where do the Quimby Fund interest payments go to? I was once told it goes to the Finance Department, goes to the General Fund. Over $100 million of principal, I would assume you're getting at least 7%. So that's a lot of money. Where does it go? Why doesn't it go to Rexon Park for operations and maintenance, much like this authorization is? I would highly recommend that City Council ask the Controller as part of this to also audit the track record of these funds and where they're going and what they actually do for the city of Los Angeles. Neighborhood councils serve free. Once I asked a guy about making a nonprofit. He said, I can make any profitable company a nonprofit just by increasing the salaries. So how about a controller's audit of all nonprofits authorized by the city of Los Angeles to receive funds?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Alarcon.
Council members, this is a fairly routine item. It has to do with an arrangement with the Housing Authority to pay the city money in lieu of paying taxes. All this discussion about nonprofits has absolutely nothing to do with the city of Los Angeles per se, except that these projects have facilities that are recreational in nature, and we've been historically providing recreational services, and now we are not going to be providing services, so the Housing Authority will be allowing nonprofits to contract to provide those services. This is not city property, it's HACLA property, and these nonprofits will provide the service that normally was provided by Recreation and Parks. This is a fairly typical transaction, and although I do want to say we've obviously been through some interesting issues with HACLA over the last couple of years, this is not one of those areas where we've had any dispute.
Mr. Parks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just would like to comment. I think with this proposal as it's written takes us away from the original concept of why Mr. Savornitz years ago decided to create the pilot fund. It was because the city failed to deal with infrastructure, streets, sidewalks, trees in the housing developments, and now we're moving to a transition of moving the money into programming, which by the general manager's statement cannot be sustained. And so while that money is being moved away, infrastructure is not being dealt with in the poorest part of the community, and to charge that community for grid and other things that the rest of the city is getting out of the $25 million pot doesn't appear to be in their interest either. So I think it takes 2 years ago, at the request of the mayor's office, we made an agreement to fund grid for 1 year only if they promise to pay back the money. They did not pay back the money the following year, and now this year we're dealing with all programming and no infrastructure. And so I think we're taking it totally away from its intended purpose, and the poorest people in the city are now going to be without infrastructure, and we're charging them for programming that other people are getting for free.
Okay, on this item, let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes, 1 no.
Okay, I'd like to adjourn this meeting and return to the regular meeting. Before it's officially acknowledged that we're out of the special meeting, we want to go forthwith on that item. So now, Madam Clerk, get me out of this meeting and back to the regular meeting.
Yes, Mr. President, the special meeting has been adjourned and council can resume the regular meeting.
Thank you. That leaves item 1, and I think, Mr. Krikorian, I at least want to afford you the opportunity to lay this out a little bit, if you like, how you want to move forward. I know no action will be taken, but if you could just update the members.
That's right. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Members, the Budget and Finance Committee began consideration of the mayor's proposed budget for fiscal year 2013-2014 on April 30th and conducted 12 days of hearings, which ended this past Wednesday, May 15th. During the course of those hearings, we heard from the department heads and examined the accounts and asked questions of over 35 departments. We took comment from the public during every single day of those hearings, and we even took department-specific public comment when people wanted to comment again regarding particular departments. And in that regard, I do want to pay special thanks to our city clerk of the committee, Erica Pulst, who did a fantastic job of keeping us on track and maintaining the public comment component of this, among many other things. We also heard a separate presentation from the Coalition of City Unions, and then, as you all know, we heard from the budget advocates of the neighborhood councils here in full City Council regarding the budget as well. So there's been a great deal of public comment already that went into this work product. In addition to that, committee members through the committee requested and received over 100 budget-related reports from the CAO. And I want to thank the CAO and his staff for being able to produce that information back to us so quickly. The result of all this process was a proposed budget that's being recommended to you by the Budget and Finance Committee that includes, among other things, a reserve of over $260 million, which at 5.29% of the general fund would be the highest reserve that we have achieved in the city in a decade. It includes over $50 million in capital improvement expenditures, which meets the city's fiscal policies of exceeding 1% of the general fund. In addition, the committee was able to identify and recognize over $35 million in ongoing revenues, which help address our continuing structural deficit, and fund a budget stabilization fund with over $66 million, which will assist us in being able to address the budget challenges that we'll continue to have in coming years due to the volatility of our budget and our continuing structural deficit challenges. So in all of those respects, I think this was a very productive effort. It continues the city on its forward progress towards fiscal sustainability, and I'm pleased to be able to recommend, on behalf of the Budget and Finance Committee, recommend this budget to you. And again, I also want to thank the CLA and especially Sharon So and Karen Kalfayan, without whom we simply could not have made the progress that we've made, and particularly in this budget, just conducted yeoman's work in trying to identify new savings, identify new revenues, and I think we were successful in that effort. So today, members, you will recall, is the day for public comment on the budget. We will not take an action today. We will consider, as a body, we will consider the committee's recommendations beginning on Thursday of next week, May 23rd. So today is only a day for receipt of the budget and receipt of additional public comment, and then we'll be considering the budget next week. So with that, we'll debate it further next week, but I'm pleased with the budget report that's before you, and we can now hear from the public, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Krikorian. Okay, we're going to go to public comment on item 1. I've got Ann Williams, followed by Ruben Gonzalez, Charles Johnson, Donna Pearman. Please come forward. Ms. Williams.
Good morning. I'm Ann Williams with the Central City Association. In support of the city's effort to focus its economic development strategy, we in the business community were cautiously optimistic when the City Council adopted a plan for a new economic development model for Los Angeles. To date, the city has moved forward with the public sector piece of the model, the reorganization of existing staff into a new economic development department, but it has stalled on the creation of the private sector-led nonprofit entity that is so important. What message does this send about the importance of economic development? The budget before you contains a request for $2.5 million intended as seed money for this new nonprofit. This is half of the $5 million that the city's own consultant advised was necessary to get the nonprofit up and running in the 2013-2014 fiscal year. Perhaps more troubling is that the Economic Development Initiative has been placed in the unappropriated balance budgetary category. This was not a necessary action, and we do not feel that the funds are secure there. And we ask that they be moved back to the GCP, where the program will be a bona fide city program that it must be. Right now, we need the city to think long-term about its investment in this area and uphold its side of the bargain. The city needs to send a clear message that it is committed to getting the Economic Development House in order. Please follow through with the plan that the city has already set forth and fully fund the new nonprofit with an annualized commitment of $5 million and keep the program as a bona fide city initiative, not shuttled off into the unappropriated balance. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ruben Gonzalez, Charles Johnson, Donna Pearman, Arnold Sachs. Yes, Ruben.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. My name is Ruben Gonzalez. I'm here on behalf of the LA Area Chamber of Commerce, also to speak about the economic development nonprofit funding. Within the report that's before you, the amount is cut from $5 million to $2.5 million based on the assertion that a nonprofit could not be in place until January 1, halfway through the year. I'm here to say on behalf of the private sector and the business community that we are ready to go. We've been talking about this on our side, coordinating this on our side, and we are ready to move with all due speed, along with city staff, to get that RFP out, to respond to that RFP, to have the correct folks chosen to serve that nonprofit role, and to get moving on economic development. Sending the right message on this to business within LA and businesses looking to come to LA, the least we can do is commit 0.1% of this budget, of almost $5 billion budget. I think we can commit $5 million in a direct line item to make this happen. It is critical. Lately, this council has taken great strides and sent a great message on economic development, approving the SCIB project, approving moving the North Runway. Let's keep this going. Let's send a message that LA's open for business. We're going to create jobs. We're going to grow through economic development, and we're going to use the best practices that your own consultants found in Houston, New York, and other cities. Now, the way to do that is to commit to the $5 million, and we'll meet you there, and we'll get it done well before January. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ruben. Okay, Charles, followed by Donna Pearman, followed by Arnold Sachs. Arnold, I'm informed you have a minute, so come forward, please. Yes, sir.
I'm Charles Johnson. I'm a board member of the Los Angeles chapter of the Service Disabled Veterans Elite Business Owners. And the reason I'm here today is I want to talk to you about your Office for Contractor Relations. You have an Office for Contractor Relations, and I want to thank you for the city's new commitment to your veterans business owners, and you've been really doing a great job with helping veterans out here. But the reason I'm here today is that you have a proposed moving of that office from the mayor's office into another department. And we feel, as the veteran business owners here in Los Angeles, which we represent, that this would limit that office's ability to do its job and not be able to live up to its mission to serve its veterans and the community that it serves. As a veteran business owner and a member of the board of directors for the Los Angeles chapter of the Elite Service Disabled Business Owners Network, we feel that the work in this office, this office is performing, is needed in the mayor's office to ensure that all of those who have served this great nation recognize that the city is committed to its promises that it's made to its veterans, to include them in the contracting process here in the Los Angeles. And I thank you today. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Donna Pearman, please come forward, followed by Arnold Sachs
Hearing
and Donald Spivak.
Hearing that last gentleman, I strongly believe that they should be listening to the doing services for the veterans, especially disabled veterans. They put their lives on the line for this country, and it should not be denied in its 2013 budget. Of course, I have never been able to see the 2013-2014 budget, and I don't understand why this is not done by the mayor that's coming in. It's done by Villaraigosa. Villaraigosa didn't even try to put anything in the budget to be able to have disabled services to be able to open up the Van Nuys video conferencing, and I really think that should have been in a 2013-2014 budget. The pros that they don't care for disabled people, they don't care for disabled veterans, and I'd love to be able to get this 2013 and 2014 budget a lot more transparent so we can see exactly what the Villaraigosa, our fake mayor, wants, has on this budget, that he didn't even wait until Wendy Gruhl or Eric Garcetti came in as mayor. So it's hard to speak on something, but I do know that they should open the video conferencing from Van Nuys because you're denying access for disabled having access to video conferencing. So it should be utilized and not closed. So I guess that's all until I find out exactly what's on this budget.
Thank you.
Eric Garcetti for mayor.
Stop that,
Mr.
Donna.
President,
Yes,
I only
Mr.
spoke on
Sachs.
2 items. Item 7, I spoke for 2 minutes, and item 8, I spoke for 1.
Well, I'm informed by our timekeeper that
sir?
you have 1 minute.
Sir, how could that be?
Sir, speak on the item.
Holy
As you're
crap,
speaking,
you know-
I will have these people. Could you recheck and make sure we are accurate? But you can begin your statement now.
You're too shy, Mr. Krikorian, on your budget discussions. Actually, the most important budgeted item in the discussions was the 1 minute you kept up for the public comment. But you did mention the coalition of the unions, and Molly Rose gave a lesson on Budgeting 101. And in addition to the general fund, she mentioned the emergency fund, the general reserve fund, the revenue uncertainty fund, the special fund, the budget stabilization fund. But what wasn't again discussed is the revenue that comes into the city districts, council districts, the AB 1290 funds, the pipeline revenue funds, the street furniture revenue funds, the bus bench revenue funds, the landfill amenity revenue funds, the billboard sign district revenue, the blighted foreclosure revenue. Keep in mind, next May you'll have a problem with the fire department because they'll need money for fire season. And make sure that you understand the difference between the structural deficit and the regular deficit.
Thank you, Arnold. No, they have you speaking twice for 2 minutes each, and that leaves you with 1 minute. Now, look, don't disrupt the meeting. Now, after Mr. Spivak, if I could get Michelle Pritchard and Adrian Martinez, and would one of the sergeants go and have a discussion with Mr. Sachs as to how we behave when we come to this place? Okay, go on, Don.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. President, members of Council. My name is Donald Spivak. I'm a consultant with the Clean Up Green Up campaign that has developed the Clean Up Green Up policy proposal in partnership with residents of the impacted communities of Boyle Heights, Pacoima, and Wilmington, and our coalition partners. A number of them are here today, and I'd like to ask them to stand while I speak. We are here to request your support for approximately $103,000 in city funding for the Planning Department to initiate the Clean Up Green Up work plan as endorsed by your Planning and Land Use Management Committee based on a 2011 Council initiating motion. It's important to note that the Liberty Hill Foundation has pledged $100,000 to be granted to the city, a strong private-to-public leveraging. We also believe the Planning Department can build upon nearly 10 years of research and program development already undertaken by highly credible academic and planning experts on the problem of cumulative environmental impacts to prevent duplication of effort and, as the work effort begins, save time and precious city resources. Clean Up Green Up is a community-initiated proposal to reduce pollution, prevent the expansion of pollution by establishing clear performance standards for new and expanded businesses, and provide economic development assistance to businesses for their operations. This combination of pollution reduction, new standards, and economic incentives is unique, we believe, the first time in the United States that such a three-pronged effort has been formulated. We expect the program will provide not only benefits for these three heavily impacted communities, but an opportunity to test out processes and standards which the city could then consider applying in other areas. The effort is timely, environmentally important, and can benefit the city with synergies to work on the recently initiated health and wellness element of the general plan, concurrent work on the Boyle Heights Community Plan, and other ongoing programs to improve the health and well-being of the city's residents and workers. We therefore strongly urge your support for initiating the program by providing the funding.
Thank you. Okay, and thank all of you for coming. Okay, if I can get Michelle Pritchard, Adrian Martinez, Luis Vasquez, and Summer Sepulveda, maybe it is? Yes, if you'd identify yourself.
Yes. Good morning, council members. My name is Michelle Pritchard. I'm the director of the Common Agenda program at the Liberty Hill Foundation. And for many months, our foundation has been anxiously awaiting the opportunity to make a grant to the City of Los Angeles in the amount of $100,000, as Mr. Spivak just indicated, to help move the Clean Up, Green Up policy recommendations forward. We are very enthusiastic about this unprecedented pilot policy to address the problem of environmental justice and health impacts resulting from air pollution, a problem which affects all residents in the City of Los Angeles, but especially the residents of Boyle Heights, Pacoima, and Wilmington. To our knowledge, there is no other city in the country that has designed a strategy like this to improve both community health and help local businesses to clean up and green up their operations. We hope and we urge the Council to make available another $100,000 so that the Planning Department can begin work on this innovative policy. We think it is a very small investment that will leverage significant community and business benefits in the future and help Los Angeles continue as an environmental leader amongst cities across the nation. We especially want to thank Councilman Jose Huizar, Councilman Joe Buscaino, and Councilman Richard Alarcon for their early efforts to endorse the motion to make this happen. Thank you.
No, thank you. If I could get Adrian Martinez, followed by Luis Vasquez, Summer Sepulveda, and is it Elizabeth Blaney maybe, or Blaine? Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Adrian Martinez, and I'm here on behalf of the Natural Resources Defense Council and our thousands of members living in the city of Los Angeles. I'm here today to support the efforts of the Clean Up, Green Up campaign and the groups that are involved. I think the important thing here is while this program in the pilot stage looks at 3 communities, it really is setting a national model for how do you address severe environmental injustice. It's a really unique approach to how to get at the issue of cumulative impacts. And I think the most important thing is we've seen over the last weeks a lot of people coming to the city and saying, hey, we need money in the budget for this and that. It's key here that the community groups involved have come up with half the money needed to implement this work plan. They're ready to get you a check for that half. We need to find another $103,000. This money will be well used. I actually think this will help bring more revenue to the city by identifying relevant state and local and federal funds that could be used to clean up facilities in these 3 communities. So I'm here today to really support finding this money and making this project a robust one to make the city of Los Angeles a real leader in environmental justice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, and Summer Sepulveda, Elizabeth Blaine or Blaney, Kathy Hesh. Please come forward.
Hello, my name is Summer Sepulveda, and I represent 13,000 certified women business owners nationwide through the Women's Business Enterprise National Council West. We're here in Southern California, And what I'm here to do today is talk about the Office of Contractor Relations and the importance of keeping it in the original mayoral's budget proposal. The importance of this office, and especially being in the mayor's office, is through the last couple years we've really strengthened the relationships. We've been able to open up opportunities to women-owned businesses. And about a month ago, they actually accept our certification now, which opens up to close to 600 certified women-owned businesses here in the Los Angeles area. What they do is they generate over $13 billion in revenue and employ 2,600 plus employees. And so what I'm asking for you to do today is to please consider the original budget proposal, make sure that we keep the the Office of Contractor Relations in the mayor's office, to keep that advocacy there for us, and to be able to provide equal and fair opportunities for women when it comes to contracting with the City of Los Angeles. So I just want to make sure that you know that we represent the women business owners here in LA that are residents and that do business. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for coming. Next. If you'd please come and identify yourself.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Blaney with Unión de Vecinos. We are located in Boyle Heights, and we're here supporting the Clean Up Green Up campaign. And basically what we're asking of the Budget Committee of the City Council is just to allocate $103,000 more to the Planning Department. In the big scheme of things, $103,000 over a multi-billion-dollar budget is nothing given the impact that it will have in Boyle Heights, Pacoima, and Wilmington, and then eventually for all of the city residents of Los Angeles. It's also going to be a big benefit to small businesses because it will help provide resources and for programs to small businesses to help use green technology and retraining to really reduce the air contamination in our community. I live in Boyle Heights. I raise my children in Boyle Heights. The environment, I'm very concerned about conditions of asthma and how that affects my kids. And I think that this small amount of money to really help start a program that's going to have a big health impact for all of our children in Los Angeles is very important. So we ask you to make that allocation. We thank Councilman Huizar and his leadership in this and continue to urge him to continue to support this. Thank you.
Okay, Kathy Hesh, followed by, I have a Blanca Marquez and a Wendy Ramallo. Sir, what is your name? Sir, the one standing.
Luis Vasquez.
Okay, I called you. You know, when I call your name and you don't come up, I usually don't let people speak. But I'm going to excuse you because this is the first time I've seen you. Miss Hesh.
Hi, I'm Kathy Shea. I'm the owner and CEO of Cambrian Corporation. We're an IT company located in West Covina. I'm here to support the Office of Contractor Relations. Please do not cut their budget for next fiscal year. I'm speaking as a women-owned, minority-owned, and small local business that is certified with City of LA. It's very important to have this office to run activities that are related to networking and procurement, so a new business like ours, who are diverse, can have the opportunity to do business with City of LA. I've been to a lot of activities held by different local government agencies like county, including LAWA or LADWP, so it will be great to keep this office and we can all participate and be a great vendor to City of LA.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Vasquez, come on up, followed by, I believe it to be Blanca Marquez, Wendy Ramallo, and Kokayi. Please come forward. Yes, sir.
Thank you for giving me the chance to testify this morning in support of and expanding the Office of Contract Relations. I'm Luis Vasquez. I'm president of Maya Advertising. I'm also representing the Southern California Minority Suppliers Development Council and the Regional Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Why is the Office of Contract Relations needed? First and foremost, it is to ensure an opportunity for minority opportunities to compete for city contracts. Currently, Black, Latino, Asian, mixed race, Native American, and Asian Americans, Native Americans make up the majority of Angelenos. There are also thousands of minority and women entrepreneurs. But despite these facts, 92% of all contracts go to white males in the city of Los Angeles, according to Bloomberg. At the same time, Contracting with minorities and women is at an all-time low. What is wrong with this picture? We need to stop the good old boy networking of contracting in Los Angeles. We need the Office of we need the office here to help us streamline these contracts. Imagine the possibilities of contracting with our communities. I see more employment opportunities for people of color, economic development, and a stronger middle class for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. Okay, Blanca, followed by Wendy Ramallah, Kokai, followed by Cynthia Smith Bay. Yes.
Good morning. My name is Blanca Marquez. And I'm here representing Trinity Mother for Action and speaking in support of this budget and resources allocated to Trinity Park. Thank you so much for supporting us and listening to us and giving us a new playground and safer playground for our kids. And I want to give you a special thank you to City Councilwoman Jen Perry for listening and advocating for us. Thank you so much. This means a lot to our community, to our parents, and our kids. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, Wendy Ramallah, followed by Kokai, Cynthia Smith Boyd, followed by, I believe it's Karen Lawrence. Okay, yes, go ahead.
Good morning, Council President and distinguished members of the City Council. I'm here today on behalf of the Mothers of Trinity Park, the leadership group Trinity Mothers for Action. We're here to speak in support of the resources that have been recommended in this budget by RAP, the CAO of the CLA for Trinity Park. We'd specifically like to thank Councilwoman Perry for her advocacy and her continued commitment to this community, and to Councilmember Krikorian for his leadership. All of the mothers could not be here today. Obviously, they're very busy women raising children and working and could not all come out today, but they did have a fantastic meeting with representatives from Rec and Parks this week. And I am quite certain that Mr. Shull has never had so many pictures taken of him or felt like such a celebrity as he did being received by the mothers of Trinity Park. I would like to take this time to read the letter before you into the record that represents the feelings of all the mothers of Trinity Park. Honorable Council members, we the members of Trinity Mothers for Action would like to express our sincere appreciation for the gratitude for hearing our concerns regarding the lack of investment in Trinity Park and our request to restore critical service to the park located in South Los Angeles. The investment of a new playground and restoration of partial funding to support basic programming will be an asset to the surrounding community and help make Trinity a safer place for children to play. These positive improvements will help build an environment where families can engage each other, an environment and encourage other agencies and nonprofits to invest in our children and youth. Trinity Mothers for Action came about out of a concern for our community and children. We came to our council member, the Department of Rec and Parks, and to this council and sought your assistance. In a time when many question the role of government, we are here today to say government can work and can listen.
Thank you. Thank you. Come on up, sir, and identify yourself.
Thank you so much, Council President Wesson. My name is Kokai Kwajitahidi, and I'm with the South LA Power Coalition, as well as a member of the Empowerment Congress Southwest Board. And I joined today almost 30 South LA Neighborhood Council, as well as community-based organizational leaders, to meet with our 4 city council members who represent some part of South LA. We want to just say thank you so much for meeting with us. We also thank you so much for prioritizing in our meetings what it means to start community-driven economic development from the grassroots up. In South LA, we are sick and tired of enriching Gardena, Hawthorne, Inglewood, and other surrounding cities with our tax revenue. We think that South LA is a place that can contribute to the general budget in a significant way if we partner with community-based organizations. So once again, Council President, I thank you. I was personally in the meeting with Councilman Buscaino, and I want to say thank you so much, and we look forward to working with you along the Harbor Gateway. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next.
Peace, greetings to the council. I am Cynthia Smith Bay of the Morris Science Temple of America and an affiliate of the South LA Power Coalition and the LA Black Worker Center. I would like to thank the Herb Wesson office for the opportunity of meeting with us today on the Ban the Box initiative and the equity, transparency, and accountability of the Crenshaw LAX corridor rail line. Thank you all.
Okay, now I have Ms. Lawrence.
Is it still morning?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, City Council members. My name is Karen Lawrence, and I'm here representing the South Los Angeles Power Coalition. And I'm also the newly elected chairperson for the Empowerment Congress Southeast Area Neighborhood Council. The South LA Power Coalition is composed of neighborhood council and neighborhood association leaders, stakeholders, and community activists. We were able to meet with our Councilman Bernard Parks today and Purvi Doshi, the Senior Policy and Planning Advisor today, and discuss issues that are important to our community, our residents, business owners, and stakeholders, such as the Ralph's redevelopment on Manchester and Western, the development in the Broadway and 94th Street empty lot. That used to be a hospital back in the day, if people can remember. And the Vermont-Manchester project. We spoke about various streams of revenue for these projects. We would like to express our appreciation to our Councilman Bernard Parks and to Purvi Doshi for meeting with us today. It was extremely productive and it was informative. We look forward to our follow-up sessions, and thank you for keeping us abreast of the developments and the rehabilitation projects scheduled for our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank everybody for coming. That concludes our public comment on this item. Mr. Krikorian, would you like to wrap things up, or?
I just look forward to having a thorough discussion with all of us when we begin discussion of the report on Thursday. Just want to thank all the members of the public who came down today to provide comment, as well as throughout the 12 days of hearings that we already conducted on the report, and look forward to further consideration with all of us on Thursday.
Okay, so then you're comfortable if I close the hearings? So the hearing is closed. In fact, speaking of Thursday, members, Thursday, when we actually begin our discussion on the budget as a council, it's Thursday at 9 a.m., which is a non-council day, and that could be a casual dress day. I don't know how long we'll be here, but as long as Zion doesn't wear Speedos, I think we'll be okay. But, you know, polo shirts and sport coats and things like that. So I want everybody comfortable and I want everybody relaxed. Okay, with that said, if I get Mr. Reyes.
Mr. President, just for clarification, the action for this item will be to continue this matter until this Thursday, the special meeting on May 23rd.
Yes, and that special meeting again will be at 9 a.m. Be on time this coming Thursday. Mr. Reyes.
Okay. Okay, Madam Clerk, what's before us?
General public comment, Mr. President.
Okay. I'd like to call up the following names for general public comment. We have Donna Proman. Donna, are you here? Please come on up. Dan Jones. After Ms. Proman, please come on up to the microphone. Then followed by John Walsh. So please make your way to the microphone. Thank you. Ms. Proman.
Okay, this is Eric, Donna Perriman. Eric Garcetti for mayor, and Dennis Zine for controller. And let's see, I also want to vote for Derek Waleko for CD6, which I have over here. The two carpetbagger women, women who came from San Fernando. Let's see, they have a lot more money than he does. And they just came from San Fernando to live in the district, but he has always lived in his district. So it's hard for him to go against the corruption of Martinez and Montanez. That's why the video conferencing from Van Nuys is denied, and our mayor, Bill Aragoso, wouldn't let disabled services fund it. We need a good representative in CD6. Let's see. And one ploy is a video conferencing was the election that's dirty, like Montanez and Martinez. We need to, Miriam told me to come here to let you know something important. You must not vote for Mike Fuhr for DA. He was engaged in widespread ethics cheating and campaign finance fraud. Fuhr got hundreds of thousands of dollars in illegal contributions, and they defrauded taxpayers out of an additional $300,000. He has a pay deal with John Shulman, which is his political consultant, receiving an unreported secret campaign gift worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. He was having campaign advising services worth $100,000 for only $8,000, giving him material advantage over Tutanich. You must not vote for Tutanich. I mean, you must vote for Tutanich. Listen to me, people. You must vote for Tutanich. You must not vote for Mike Fuhr. He is morally unfit to hold office, that he has to have all this services, advice, and he's running dirty, and he's going to be kicked out.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Our next speaker, Mr. Jones.
Good morning. My name is Daniel Jones. I'd like to say hello first to the Department of Homeland Security officers. Snitch number 1, snitch number 2. Where's Zion at? Snitch number 3. I'm going to take the law into my own hands. I have a right to do that. That's why a police officer never tells you you can't. Herb Wesson, you'll be sitting right there. Where are you, Herb? You're not sitting right there. You lied to the people. You're not sitting up there in the top chair. Where are you, Herb? I'll be right here is what you said. Where are you, Herb? Yeah. This is the Constitution of the federal government right here. Oh, look at you. You're sitting there scoffing. You can't show that reaction shot, can you, Mr. Operator? Yep, there you go. Shit on me, huh? Oh, there goes the city attorney. He's scoffing too now. Anybody else? Here we go. On October 1st at 10:29 p.m. in the year of our Lord 2011, our government allowed an occupation. We have a long history of suppressing riots, tumults, and every other thing, except the mayor of the city of Los Angeles called it an exception to the rule. This is why you can't do it. Suppression of an insurrection or rebellion shall not be questioned, period. The mayor of Los Angeles, for the city of Los Angeles, told the police chief for 52 days to answer that question. It means to be unquestioned by the person who hears the question. The mayor said to the chief of police, will you not enforce the law for 52 days? Right, city attorney? Did the chief answer that question? He was allowed the 14th Amendment by swearing to the oath. That 14th Amendment belongs to me because I declared the state of war emergency on it, didn't I?
Thank you.
City attorney.
Please lower his voice. Take the microphone off. He's now disrupting the meeting. Please take him out, please.
The meeting. Mr. City Attorney, please note that.
I think we've all noted that.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org.
please go to our website and then click over to J. Walsh Confidential. We put up a photo just last night that is causing a storm of controversy. It's a picture of Mr. Garcetti and a man and a woman. This picture may or may not be softcore kiddie porn, but here's the switch. The kid is Eric Garcetti as a child. Please go to HollywoodHighlands.org and see the picture, a beach picture of Eric Garcetti when he was about 4 years old. We'll take it down if people believe it is soft-core kiddie porn. You be the judge. You check it out. Garcetti's not here. He hasn't been here for weeks. He's showed up at 3 or 4 meetings and in the past 3 months. Now, we can win. I'm asking everybody out there. The African-American community, 70% for Gruel. But the Hispanic community, only 36%. Listen to Kevin James and his attacks. He's going to be a deputy mayor. He is a racist. Listen to him, Kevin James, when he goes all over the city with Eric, and they talk about getting rid of the illegal aliens. And you know what illegal aliens means? That means anybody that Kevin James and the right-wingers consider. We have an alliance in this city now for Garcetti, which is bike-riding white liberal biennials and racist old white men. We must, and who's on the other side? Whites are now, because of what we have done, because of anybody but Garcetti are on his side. Blacks are on his side. Asians are on his side. Come to your senses, Hispanics. Listen to your leaders. This man will destroy you. Eric, Tricky Ricky, in it for himself. We are going to win. Take your mail-in ballot now and mark it. HollywoodHighlands.org for Gruel.
Thank you. Arnold Sachs and Aaron Walsh. Then Dr. Tom Williams.
Jeez. Thank you. Good afternoon, Arnold Sachs. I thought I'd lost another minute. Few corrections. Ron Galperin, you might have read a story today in the LA Times. Dennis Zine wants to be the controller because he knows how the city operates. If you've been following the budget discussions and you've been following the discussions regarding the deficits, nobody has discussed the pay raises that were given the union coalitions. Nobody discussed the pay raises that went to DWP. Yet Dennis Zine, insider. Ron Galperin needs to become the controller. The system is actually broken. We need to figure a way to provide jobs that bring manufacturing back to the city, large manufacturing. We need to find a way to subsidize manufacturing to bring middle-class jobs back. Again, I say, building a better hamburger is not a manufacturing job. It just isn't. And Mr. Wesson made a comment about how I'm disrupting the meeting, and yet look who's sitting up in the dais right now. I believe, Mr. Buscaino, in the Budget Committee meeting, you mentioned the cost for SCAG, how it's gone up. The City Council is paying more for the SCAG. And yet SCAG put Mr. Reyes on the Gold Line Construction Authority 5 years before it was created by state legislation. They put out a flyer. Yet you take an oath of office to uphold state law. So how the hell did he end up on an organization that wasn't created by state law, and yet you're paying SCAG? Doesn't make sense. But Mr. Wesson is concerned about my disruption. Yes.
Next speaker, Aaron Wald.
Approaches. Could I recognize the great Rita Walters, a great educator, great councilwoman of the 9th District, retired library commissioner. Give her a big hand, folks.
Welcome, Ms. Walters. It's always good to see you. Aaron Wall, are you here? Aaron? Okay, next speaker, Dr. Tom Williams.
Dr. Tom Williams, LA 32 Neighborhood Council. Please vote on Wednesday or Tuesday of next week please vote, no matter who for. Yesterday, we had a presentation by the Planning Department for the mobility element of the LA General Plan. Very reasonable presentation. 20 people listened. But the biggest problem was LA DOT wasn't represented. We talked about DASH. We talked about real neighborhood transportation, the first and last miles. But LA DOT seems to not care about what the public is concerned about. We need more DASH. But the mobility element so far hasn't really recognized that even DASH exists. They don't put it on their plans. They don't have a plan for DASH because maybe LA DOT does not provide it to them. I don't know. Well, we do have the mobility element, and we are contributing to it for Northeast LA and maybe even East LA because it has serious needs. They don't even recognize that there's a thing called Valley Boulevard or the State Route 710, and that, mobility. The Port of LA is a major mobility element, but it doesn't seem to have been included in the mobility plan either. So we're quite concerned about the adequacy. Planning department's trying their best with minimal staff. LA DOT doesn't even have a viable commission that the public can address. So we would like to have the Transportation Commission be provided with more authority over the Department of Transportation. Thank you.
Mr. Dr. Williams, thank you. Linda Wilson? Linda Wilson, are you here? Linda Wilson, okay. Brian Barajas. Brian Barajas.
Hi, okay. Now, I got some great news for everybody. So, I've been speaking upon the H.R. 129, Return to the Glass-Steagall Law. Now, yesterday, May 16, there was in the Senate Bill 985. Now, the Senate has taken action to reinstate Glass-Steagall. This is great news. Why should we do this? It's very simple, actually. I've been explaining this. Now, let's take a lesson from Shakespeare. Shakespeare and Richard III. What happened? People believe Richard III was a nice guy. Right? Now, Obama comes out and he's losing it. I'm a nice guy. Bush did the same thing. Now, as Americans, we don't believe in nice guys. We believe in the truth. The truth is, Glass-Steagall will revive the physical economy, thereby lifting mankind out of the depravity that they're in. Now, who's taking a stand on this? It's not just Linda LaRouche. It's not the movement itself. It's around the world. And just yesterday, again, Pope Francis even denounced the cult of money. It's useless. In the United States, we have a principle called a credit system. We took the power away from an oligarchical system and not giving money for economic development. Now, this can be done again with a credit system and the reinstatement of Glass-Steagall.
Thank you. I do have a card here. It doesn't have a name, but I'll state the address. 1961 East 115th Street. Come on up. Please give us your name.
My name is Cheryl Martin, and this is rather a personal issue, and I hate to be bringing it with so many other important things, but it's important to me. I'm almost 70 years old, and I have around my house a monitored security system. But despite that, the LAPD alarm section is coercing me into getting their police system. And this is not the law. I have gone down, I have checked it with the law library and found out that if you have a monitored, non-monitored system, then I would have to apply because it would be like I was a private company. But I have a private company that monitors my home, and they are coercing me, and even went so far as to force me into getting this police permit. And I don't know where to go. I've gone to several people. Nobody will help me file anything against these people or stop them. And that is my message. And my representative, I understand, is Mr. Buscaino, and I need help with this. All right.
Thank you, ma'am. The deputy will meet with you on the side there. Okay. Madam Clerk, I believe that does conclude public comments. Seeing no more cards, what's next on the item?
Council has motions for post and referral.
Post and referred.
That clears the desk.
Members, any announcements?
Friend of the United States, a great American, Gail Halvorson, Colonel, the Air Force, who Bill Rosendahl, you'll remember the Berlin airlift as a child, led the effort. He's being honored in Southern California this weekend, where Gail Halvorson, the Candy Bomber, and helping relieve those in the Berlin airlift. And also this Sunday at the Grove at 3rd and Fairfax, we'll have our annual Culture Day. The public is invited. It's a free event on the main street of the Grove at the stage. We'll see cultural dance and music from a variety of our sister cities. Wish everybody a great weekend.
Thank you. Councilor Rosendahl.
Yes, just to remind everybody out there who hasn't voted, the election is very important in Los Angeles. The local government is the government that you know about and see the most of. So please participate in the process. Make the democracy work. Go vote on May 21st. Don't complain about government if you haven't participated in the process. It's critical that you do it. So please vote by next Tuesday and make a difference in our great city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rosendahl, and I will echo those words. We truly would like to motivate folks to come out and vote on the 21st. It's so important, and we appreciate all your efforts. With that, calling, see no other announcements. Please stand. Everybody, please stand in the chamber. It's in the audience as well, please. Yes, please stand. Yes, everybody. Adjourning motions. Councilor Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. On May 1st, we lost with the passing of Margaret Bloomfield, a tremendous philanthropist and community activist and a friend of mine. She was 90. She was born and raised in Escondido, California, and attended college at Occidental and UCLA. And after World War II, she met Bill Bloomfield. He proposed on their third date, and they were married in April of 1946. Bill was a phone company employee, but when the phone company went on strike, he learned of a new company that was selling washing machines for self-service laundries and apartments. And so Bill and Margaret obtained the exclusive sales rights for Westinghouse washing machines for apartments. Together they borrowed money from friends and family and purchased their first 50 machines and began what was to be one of the most successful apartment laundry service companies in the United States, called the Webb Service Company. The company operated in over 30 states, employed over 1,200 people, and after 61 years of operation, Webb Service was sold in 2008. Giving back to the community was extremely important to Margaret and Bill. Together they were very active regarding non-smokers' rights. Bill had originally been a heavy smoker, as was Marvin Browdy, and we all know those wind up being the most active anti-smokers. Margaret and Bill installed a billboard on Santa Monica Boulevard that many of you have seen that counts down the number of smoking deaths annually. and it is still operating after 25 years and is now funded by their son, Bill Bloomfield Jr. They also have become strong supporters of gun control and supporters of the Brady Bill. Another personal passion for her was stem cell research. She recently funded a UCLA symposium that brought together top scientists from all over the world so they could share their cutting-edge research. In addition, Margaret was chair of the UCLA Chancellor's Cabinet of the Chancellor's Associates, board member of UCLA's Women in Philanthropy, honoree of the Concern Foundation, member of the Westwood Village Rotary Club and the Brentwood Bel Air Women's Club. She was an active supporter of the Johnson Cancer Center, KCET, the Music Center, and LA Children's Hospital. In 2006, she established the Bloomfield Family Foundation with an emphasis on education, health, and the arts. Major recipients have been UCLA, Children's Hospital LA, the Music Center, Westwood Methodist Church, the Alliance for College-Ready Public Schools, and the Alliance Margaret M. Bloomfield Technology High School is due to open in 2014. She was incredibly dedicated and devoted to her family, loved participating in family events, and she is much missed by many people. She is survived by her son, William Bloomfield Jr., her daughter, Joanne Bloomfield Hunter, her stepdaughter, Carol Etzel, 8 grandchildren, 17 great-grandchildren, and in lieu of flowers, the family encourages that donations be made to the Johnson Cancer Center Foundation, which can be contacted through cancer.ucla.edu. And she will be sorely missed.
Thank you, Councilman Correntz. Any other adjourning motions? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. Have a great day.